downtown campus. We know that times can be scary, and as we can have a little fun, we can laugh, we can joke, these are a time where we're experiencing extreme anxiety. We're experiencing times like we've never seen before. And so I'm here with my main man, Eddie Wright, and we're here to break down how could we as men of the church respond in this season, respond in this time. What is the call for us as men, as husbands, as leaders, as men in our community, men in the workspace? How can we respond in this season?
Yeah, well, Jeff, what I think about is it's really not a time to take time off, but that doesn't mean that we just are sitting at home doing nothing. You know, what are some good habits? What are some good routines that we can start? We probably have a little bit of extra time on our hands, and we probably got new ways to reach out to people too. So, I mean, probably connecting and starting some new habits.
Yeah, the new ways. I mean, I'm experiencing myself as all of our work. I know my work is going to digital platforms, and we're experiencing this new way of trying to get our jobs done, our routines done, but also in these platforms, these digital platforms, Eddie, we're also experiencing that we're connecting in ways that we never thought possible.
Yeah, I mean, Zoom, Google Hangouts, it's probably given us a good way to stay in touch with people, but also it's given us some things to think about because, you know, there's a lot of communication that goes on unspoken when we're with people, and so we're having to find ways to connect on a deeper level through the screens and stuff like that. So I think it's actually given us a good way that when we come out of this, we actually may be closer in some ways.
Yeah, that's right. And Eddie, you talked a little bit about these new habits, these new routines, and I'd really like to talk that through. As I know some of us, we can either go one way or we can go the other. We can sit in our recliners, we can eat a bunch of junk food, we can detach from our family, we can detach from the world and use this as an opportunity for that excuse, or we can go another way. So speak to some of the habits that we might be able to create in our own lives in this season.
Yeah, you know, first and foremost, I think a lot of us have rushed morning routines when we're going to a place of work. So a lot of times what gets cut in there is our daily time with Christ. So I think this gives us an opportunity to slow down that morning routine in some capacity, spend some more time in the Word. But then also I'm sure we've got other times throughout the day that we can get into a book, we can research something, maybe learn a new skill, maybe reach out to people that we haven't talked to in a while, you know. So I think there's a lot of things that we can really set in place that the normal daily routine actually causes too much rush in our life, but now it's really forcing us to slow down and start some of those new routines.
Yeah, slowing down might be the key. I think it is for me. I need that space cleared out. I need to have that space to kind of unwind, but also to really put priority back to my everyday life, especially when it comes to the routine and habits that I have. And so I know that speaking from these new opportunities that we might have is getting in the Word every morning is like waking up and knowing that I don't have to take a shower. Yeah. Maybe I don't have to shave, and I've got that extra capacity. Now maybe I could spend that extra 30 minutes to an hour in the Word. Maybe I could have that time with my wife to just wake up in the morning before the kids start going crazy.
Yeah.
Maybe that's that opportunity that we can really dig deep into our prayer life, because we need to be people of prayer through the season, don't we?
Yeah. I think, you know, one of the things is without a commute, without that morning routine, I mean, all of a sudden I think there's probably 2 or 3 extra hours in there that a lot of us are finding. And, you know, there's a couple different ways to go with that. Like, do I scroll Facebook and do I get on Twitter for 2 extra hours, or do I find ways to connect with people around me better? Families will grow closer. I know we're spending a lot more time in proximity. You know, so I think let's just let's take this time to really find a way to deepen relationships. I know as like we hear a lot, like deepen our relationship with Christ, deepen our relationship with those around us as well. So
yeah, that's a great point. Is like, through all of this, let's not forget the relationships that we have in our life. Let's not forget about those people that are closest to us. You know, I could encourage you today. Why don't you reach out to a friend, reach out to maybe a long-lost relative, maybe text that person that you haven't in a while, maybe set up that Zoom call or Google Hangouts or whatever platform that you're using to have that opportunity to reconnect with people.
Yeah, you know, I think some people are more comfortable with the whole social distancing thing than others. And so obviously when we're together, you know, stay 6 feet apart, but a lot of times that's not an option either. So we got to find ways to stay in community with each other, and I think this digital platform is probably a good way for us to find a new way to connect.
Yeah, so those of you who are at the downtown campus, specifically the men of our church, I just implore and encourage you, check out our Downtown Community Facebook page. We have some really great things going on. I'll update you there. We have every Sunday morning at 8 a.m. We'll have a prayer group, just a time of fellowship, get caught up right before we log in and get church going. We'll have some fellowship there via Zoom. Also on Wednesday mornings at 7 a.m., we're going to have our H3 mornings on digital platform. We'll just hang out, catch up with one another, and also dig into the Word, maybe touch on a little bit of points of the sermon, and just be reminded of how we can pray for one another. In addition to that, there's some really cool opportunities for us to serve. If you're interested or you want to get connected or engaged in how men of the church are getting involved through this season and using these opportunities to build those relationships, why don't you give me a call, give me a text, shoot me an email, do whatever you need to do. Get engaged with me, because there's really some cool stuff that we're doing at the downtown campus.
Man, I was a little worried when this whole thing came down that we were going to lose some of those connections. Jeff, I appreciate all that you're doing, and I think this is a good way for us to stay connected. So keep it up.
Well, let's get a hug in. No, never mind. Well, thank you guys. Stay faithful, stay focused on Jesus, and stay connected.
See you guys later.
Did you stop? Was it recording?
Yeah, I really think it's some of those routines on things that we are.
Did you hit record?
If they're new habit as far as like.
Start that over. You hit record, right? Okay. Hey, Kai. You didn't hit record when you walked up there? What?